Have you ever felt like you're shouting into the void, yet nobody hears you? Maybe you've tried too hard to prove your worth, or shown up in ways you thought would make others take notice, only to end up feeling invisible. It's disheartening, frustrating, and frankly, exhausting. But here's something no one tells you. Women, and people in general, value what stands out, not what chases after them for acknowledgement. If you feel overlooked, it's not because you're inherently less. It's because you've been giving away your power by seeking approval, instead of living as someone who naturally commands it. That's where the fundamental shift needs to happen. Women don't value words that beg for validation. They respond to unspoken traits that radiate self-worth. You can shout about your value all you want, but until you embody it, you'll continue feeling unseen. The good news is, you have everything it takes to shift this dynamic. You can step out of the shadows and live in a way that demands respect without saying a single word. This isn't magic or manipulation. It's about tapping into the silent, actions that speak louder than anything you could possibly say. These actions aren't about playing games. They're about becoming the kind of man who inspires respect and admiration by the way he carries himself. Over the next few sections, we'll break down 10 transformational actions. Master these, and not only will women take notice, but so will the world at large. Never chase, always attract. The urge to chase can feel like an instinctive reaction when someone piques your interest. You're captivated, and everything inside tells you to go after them. But here's the catch. Chasing rarely works the way we hope it will, especially when it comes to relationships. When you pursue someone relentlessly, you unintentionally signal that you're placing them above yourself. It creates an unbalanced dynamic where you sacrifice your self-respect in exchange for their attention. And women, consciously or not, pick up on this in an instant. A man who pedestalizes others while abandoning his own sense of worth is hard to admire. Now, imagine flipping that script. Instead of expending your energy chasing someone else, you focus inward. You invest in your growth, happiness, and personal development. That's where attraction unfolds, naturally and without force. Start by improving your physical health. A commitment to fitness isn't about just looking good. It's about the confidence you gain from showing up for yourself consistently. Pair that with mental clarity, reading, learning, experiencing life, and you're creating a rich, multi-dimensional identity that others naturally gravitate toward. But what truly seals the deal is prioritizing your purpose. Lock into what drives you, whether it's your career, passion projects, or aspirations. When you have all-consuming goals and work toward them with fire and resilience, people notice. There's nothing more magnetic than someone who's so fully immersed in their mission that they don't have to demand attention. It just comes. Think of attraction like a flame. A flame burns brilliantly without chasing after anyone. It simply draws people closer with its heat and intensity. You can be that flame, but only when you stop chasing and start becoming the focus of your own life. Ironically, the less you try to make others notice you, the more they can't help but do exactly that. Chasing is exhausting, a relentless race that's filled with frustration. Attraction is liberating. It's the art of cultivating a life so valuable that others naturally want to be part of it. When you embody that power, you don't just make someone value you, you'll inspire them. Command respect with boundaries. Have you ever stopped to think about how much you tolerate in the name of avoiding conflict? Saying yes when you want to say no, bending over backward to accommodate someone even when it inconveniences you. It seems harmless at first, but over time, it chips away at your sense of self-respect. If you allow others to trample over your boundaries, you unknowingly train them to devalue you. Women, in particular, pay close attention to how you enforce your personal limits, because boundaries are a direct reflection of how much you value yourself. Establishing boundaries begins with clarity. Define what is acceptable in your relationships, work, and personal life, then communicate those limits with confidence. For instance, if you're someone who needs uninterrupted time to focus on important work, Make it a non-negotiable rule. If someone disrespects your time by showing up late or canceling on you, address it calmly but assertively instead of letting it slide. It's in these seemingly small moments that you either build or lose respect. One of the most powerful elements of boundaries is their ability to protect your energy. When you enforce them, you not only safeguard your own well-being, but also establish a dynamic of mutual respect. A woman who sees a man hold firm to his boundaries knows she's dealing with someone who respects himself and won't compromise his values unnecessarily. That kind of self-assurance is rare and magnetic. It's important to note that firm boundaries don't mean erecting walls or being unkind. They're about showing the people in your life how you expect to be treated. Calm, clear communication paired with consistent follow-through makes all the difference. When you carry yourself in this way, you're no longer the man scrambling to fit into others' lives. You're creating your own world and inviting others into it on your terms. That's the kind of man women deeply value, the kind of man
worth knowing. Master the power of silence. Silence can feel uncomfortable. It's vulnerable, exposing, and a space many hastily fill with unnecessary words. But here's where most men get it wrong. Silence isn't a void to be feared. It's
a weapon to be mastered. When wielded with intention, silence becomes a display of control, confidence, and self-mastery that far outweighs empty chatter. Take, for example, the art of listening. Many people speak to respond, but few listen to understand. When you master silence, you master the ability to truly hear someone. This doesn't just apply to conversations. It applies to disagreements, tense moments, or even romantic exchanges. Imagine being in an argument and instead of raising your voice or scrambling to defend yourself, you pause. That silence gives you space to think, to calm your emotions, and to choose your words with precision. This deliberate approach not only diffuses conflict, but also makes anything you say hold more weight. Then there's the intrigue silence creates. A man who isn't always quick to share every thought or explain himself endlessly leaves people curious. This isn't about playing games or being unnecessarily aloof. It's about understanding that not every question needs an immediate answer, and not every thought needs to be verbalized. Women, especially, are drawn to men who don't give everything away all at once. They lean in, wonder what's going on beneath the surface, and see you as someone with depth and composure. Using silence effectively requires practice. Start by observing moments during your day when you can hold back. Maybe in a meeting, during a conversation, or when responding to a provocation. Notice how much more power you hold when you pause instead of reacting impulsively. Silence isn't just the absence of words. It's a form of eloquence that conveys strength and thoughtfulness more than speech ever could. Exude calm in chaos. Life is unpredictable. One moment, you're cruising along smoothly, and the next, you're facing unexpected challenges, a work deadline, a personal misunderstanding, or the everyday stresses that pile up relentlessly. It's in these moments of chaos that true strength is tested. Anyone can maintain composure when everything is simple, but the ability to exude calm when life feels turbulent is a superpower. This calmness is not about suppressing emotions or pretending things don't bother you. Instead, it's about mastering your reactions so external noise doesn't dictate your internal state. Imagine being in a heated conversation where emotions are spiraling out of control. Instead of responding with anger or defensiveness, picture yourself as the steady anchor in turbulent waters. You respond only after collecting your thoughts, with calmness rather than confrontation. This composure signals strength, and women take notice. Cultivating calm is a skill built gradually. Start small. When you encounter minor stressors like heavy traffic or frustrating service delays, use them as opportunities to practice. Breathe deeply, reset, and remind yourself that patience wins the moment. Over time, this habit amplifies your ability to handle high-pressure situations. Major life stresses will no longer shake your foundation because you've trained your mind to respond, not react. When you remain unshaken in the face of adversity, you don't just stand out, you become a source of reassurance. People trust. Calm men admire them and turn to them for guidance. For women especially, this emotional steadiness creates a sense of safety and respect, embedding itself as one of the most valued qualities a man can possess. Own your space. Every room you walk into is an opportunity to make an impression without even saying a word. The way you hold yourself, how you move, and the energy you project before you speak are all part of owning your space. It's not about intimidating others or trying to dominate the room. It's about conveying quiet confidence that naturally draws others in. Owning your space starts with presence. When you stand, do so with purpose, feet firmly planted, back straight, shoulders set squarely. Posture communicates authority and self-assurance, whether you're aware of it or not. Then consider how you move. Are your gestures deliberate or hurried? Is your gaze focused, or do you struggle to hold eye contact? These small details add up and create an impression of either strength or insecurity. Beyond physical presence, owning your space involves engaging with the people around you. Speak clearly and intentionally when you choose to, but prioritize listening. Resist the urge to fidget, over-apologize, or shrink into the background. You're not just taking up physical space, you're claiming the emotional and conversational space that reflects your value. Women notice men who don't compete for attention, but command it effortlessly through their grounded energy. Expand your focus from mere presence to an intentional energy that fills the room. Whether you're silent or speaking, busy or resting, your self-assured posture and demeanor signal to the world that you're here as someone worthy of attention and respect. Owning your space is a power move, one that doesn't require words, only confidence. Prioritize purpose over pursuit. We've all been there, fixating on someone to the point where everything else falls by the wayside. But when you place another person at the center of your world, you lose sight of your own potential. Women respect men who have direction, men who pursue their purpose relentlessly without allowing distractions to derail them. This isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. Your purpose doesn't have to be monumental. It could be excelling in your career, dedicating yourself to a creative passion, or working on personal goals. What matters is that it's authentic to you and worth building your life around. A man with a sense of purpose doesn't waste time on pursuits that don't align with his vision for himself. This focus creates a sense of independence that naturally draws others in. When you're on a mission, you radiate something special, determination and confidence that are hard to ignore. Women respect not just what you've accomplished, but the drive that fuels you to keep striving for more. Purpose doesn't just make you fulfilled, it makes you stand tall. And that's exactly what others are drawn to. By centering your life around a deeper mission, you show that you don't need anyone else's validation. You're driven by what sets your soul on fire, and that fire becomes contagious. People are inspired by it and want to be part of it. That's the ultimate power of prioritizing purpose. It doesn't just light up your path, it calls others to value you for the man you've become. There's an undeniable truth about time. It's the one resource you'll never get back. No matter how much you earn or how clever you are, you can't turn back the clock or buy more hours. And if you don't treat your time as valuable, no one else will either. A man who respects his time radiates an aura of importance. It's not arrogance, it's the art of prioritization. Women see this and pay attention because how you value your time reflects how you value yourself. But valuing your time isn't just about saying no to things you don't want to do. It's an intentional practice of choosing what and who deserves your energy. Imagine a colleague who constantly asks for your help, pulling you away from your personal projects. Or someone who treats your schedule as flexible, expecting you to bend at their convenience. When you consistently allow others to misuse your time, you inadvertently signal that your priorities don't matter. And when your priorities don't matter to you, they'll matter even less to others. Protecting your time can be as simple as creating healthy habits. For instance, schedule non-negotiable blocks of time for yourself. whether for fitness, skill building, or even relaxation. When someone interrupts this sacred time, you calmly yet confidently affirm its importance. "I can't write now, but I'd be happy to help later," is both polite and firm. Over time, people begin to respect these boundaries. And as a bonus, women tend to see such discipline as ambitious and dedicated, two qualities that instinctively draw them closer. Here's another angle to consider: the principle of scarcity. What's most valuable is always hardest to access. If you make yourself constantly available at the drop of a hat, it dilutes your value. However, being selective with where and how you spend your time creates not just respect, but also intrigue. Women can sense when a man's time is precious, and they naturally feel drawn to someone whose schedule is worth being part of. The best part of this shift is how it affects you personally. Suddenly, you're more energized. You've cut away wasteful activities and focused on what creates meaning in your life. Whether it's building skills, forging meaningful connections, or simply recharging yourself, your time becomes an investment in yourself, and people notice. Stay mysterious. Mystery isn't about closing yourself off. It's about keeping a part of your life private, leaving others wanting to know more. We live in an age where oversharing is common. Social media is filled with endless posts about daily routines, personal struggles, and mundane thoughts. Against this backdrop, a man who refrains from revealing everything becomes a breath of fresh air. He's intriguing, rare, and worth paying attention to. One of the simplest ways to harness mystery is by redefining how you reveal yourself. Instead of offering every detail about your plans, goals, or past experiences, why not pace them out? Picture a first date where, instead of recounting everything about your childhood and ambitions, you share just enough to spark interest. TY. Well-placed pause or steering the conversation back toward the other person can make you appear thoughtful and composed, while also making her curious to hear more later. Now, this isn't about withholding important truths or playing hard to get. Authenticity matters. However, retain control over the narrative. If asked where you see yourself in 5 years, you don't need to elaborate every step. Something simple like, "I have some big dreams, but I like to keep the details private," until they're ready to be revealed, is far more captivating than a long-winded explanation. It sends the message that you're driven and protective of your vision, which naturally piques interest. Being mysterious also extends to your actions. Do things without announcing them. Work on personal goals, develop a new skill, or take spontaneous trips, then reveal these parts of your life gradually. When someone discovers these dimensions about you over time, they feel like they're uncovering hidden treasures, making their connection with you feel unique and rewarding. Mystery is the art of making people lean closer to figure you out. It's not about being aloof or manipulative, but about being deliberate in what you share. Authentic mystery isn't a tactic. It's a byproduct of living with intentionality and self-respect. Stand unshaken. In the face of criticism, criticism is one of life's unspoken rites of passage. If you're doing anything worthwhile, you'll face it sooner or later. But what defines you isn't the critique itself. It's how you respond. A man who can face criticism without flinching showcases an inner strength that few possess. And, yes, women notice this. The first step to mastering criticism is separating what's valid from what's not. Not every piece of feedback deserves your attention. For example, constructive criticism from a colleague designed to help you improve is vastly different from someone ranting online out of jealousy or frustration. The key is learning to listen without absorbing. Train yourself to evaluate the intent behind the words. Do they aim to build or tear down? Once this distinction becomes clear, you'll know what's worth your energy and what can be dismissed without a second thought. Consider this scenario. A woman you're dating challenges your opinion during a discussion. Instead of becoming defensive or trying to dominate the conversation, you pause. You calmly acknowledge her perspective, even if you don't fully agree. This not only de-escalates, potential tension, but also shows her that you're secure enough in yourself to handle differing views. That level of maturity is rare and deeply respected. Criticism exposes insecurities for some, but for others, it's an opportunity to grow. When you interpret critique as feedback for improvement rather than attacks on identity, you elevate yourself, mentally and emotionally. Women admire men who can shrug off negativity without lashing out. It signals that you're too focused on your goals to be derailed. Remember, the way you handle criticism sends a message far louder than the critique itself. Grace under fire commands respect from both women and men alike. Lead with action, not words. Words are cheap. Actions define you. How many times have you heard people make promises and fail to keep them? Now think of those few individuals who follow through every single time. They're rare, aren't they? That's because actions require effort, consistency, and sacrifice. All qualities that indicate a man of character. Leading by example is perhaps the most effective way to win respect. Imagine telling someone you value punctuality, but then constantly showing up late. Your words lose impact every single time you fail to align them with actions. Conversely, say you express how important health is, and they see you regularly. At the gym. That consistency earns you credibility and fosters trust. It's not just about commitments, but also about the way you approach life. If you have a goal, whether it's launching a new business, developing a skill, or simply creating a better routine, don't talk endlessly about it. Take the steps, quietly, and show results over time. A man who's proactive becomes a magnet for admiration. Consistency is where action shines. For women, a man who consistently shows up, who does what he says he will, is infinitely more attractive than someone who tries to win admiration with empty words. Remember, reliability speaks volumes about your dependability, which is one of the most valued traits in any relationship. The transformative power of respect. If there's a foundational pillar for all human connections, it's respect. Admiration, love, even attraction fall flat without it. But here's the key most overlook. Respect is rooted in self-perception. You cannot demand respect until you live as someone who respects himself first. Others will mirror the treatment you believe you deserve. Self-respect comes from the standards you set for yourself and how you hold to them. Say someone speaks to you dismissively, questioning your opinions or interrupting you repeatedly. A man with self-respect calmly but assertively addresses such behavior, showing through action that he won't tolerate it. Women see this and take note. Your refusal to accept disrespect signals strength and boundaries, qualities they admire and respond to. Beyond interpersonal dynamics, respect extends into how you live your daily life. Do you honor your commitments? Do you follow through on your goals? Every action you take reflects how highly you regard yourself. A man who treats his health, finances, and relationships with care signals that he values himself deeply. When women observe these behaviors, they naturally match that energy. A woman who respects you does so because she sees how you respect yourself. This dynamic creates a relationship built on equal terms, where neither party compromises their values, but instead rises to meet the other's standards. The ripple effect of respecting yourself is immense. Not only does it transform how others treat you, but it also reinforces your own confidence and purpose. Respect truly is the foundation of value. It shapes you into someone admired, trusted, and cherished by all who cross your path. Change starts with you. These silent actions we've explored, this blueprint to live with more intention and purpose, aren't just lofty ideals. They are tools waiting for you to sharpen and put into practice. Don't wait for someone else to hand you the respect, value, or admiration you seek. Start today by embodying the principles we've discussed. Every small step counts. Set boundaries, command your time, focus on your purpose, and lead with action. Aim for progress, not perfection. Life doesn't offer instantaneous transformations. It rewards consistency. And when you commit to being the best version of yourself, the world will take notice. This is your moment to redefine how others see you, but more importantly, how you see yourself. Take action, trust the process, live with purpose. Every move you make will rewrite the narrative of your worth in ways you never imagined possible. The respect, admiration, and connection you've been waiting for, they're on the other side of your efforts. Go out there and claim them.